Something very interesting, and honestly, a little frustrating, is unfolding around the New England Patriots right now. And if you've been paying attention to the very beginning of NFL free agency, you probably felt the same strange silence that many fans noticed. After a season that ended with the Patriots falling short in the Super Bowl, this was supposed to be the moment when the organization came out aggressive, ready to reinforce the roster and push this team over the final hurdle. Instead, the first day of free agency passed with surprisingly little movement, and that has sparked a lot of debate among fans about the direction this team is taking. The Patriots did make two moves, and it's important to talk about them because they do add pieces to the roster. The first signing was edge rusher Dre'Mont Jones, a player who brings experience and pass rush ability to the defense. Jones is 29 years old, stands 6'3", and weighs about 265 pounds. And over the last several seasons, he has built a reputation as a defender capable of getting pressure on the quarterback. Across the past 4 seasons, he recorded 43 tackles, 7 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, and 24 quarterback hits while playing with the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. When you look deeper into his role, Jones has shown versatility along the defensive front. At different points, he lined up both outside and inside, which gives the Patriots flexibility in how they deploy their pass rush. That kind of versatility can be valuable in a defense that wants to disguise pressure packages and move defenders around depending on the situation. But even with that, there is still a clear concern when you look at the overall depth of the Patriots' pass rush. Right now, the group includes Dre'Mont Jones, Harold Landry, Anfernee Jennings, and Elijah Ponder. That's not a terrible group, but it's also not the kind of deep rotation you expect from a team trying to win a championship. There are backups, but the depth still feels thin, and that's why many people believe the Patriots will almost certainly target another edge rusher in the upcoming NFL draft, especially considering how deep this draft class is expected to be at the pass rushing position. Another important part of this signing is what it might mean for Kyle Van Chasen. Jones and Chasen are considered very similar types of players. Both are late bloomers with similar playing styles. But the financial side likely played a major role here. Chasen was reportedly looking for something in the range of $15 to $16 million per year, while Dre'Mont Jones is expected to make closer to about $13 million annually. From the Patriots' perspective, that difference matters. Bringing in Jones could be a signal that the team is moving on from Chasen rather than committing to the higher price tag he was seeking. And that brings us to a larger theme that defined the Patriots. First day of free agency, the organization simply refused to spend big money on some of the top pass rushers available. Several players landed massive contracts around the league. Jalen Phillips reportedly received a deal worth about $120 million. Odif Owe landed a contract around $100 million. Boy Mafe received something in the range of $75 to $80 million. Those numbers show just how expensive elite pass rushers have become, and the Patriots clearly decided they were not willing to compete at those price levels. The second move the team made was signing fullback Reggie Gilliam, a player who previously played with the Buffalo Bills. Gilliam is 28 years old and agreed to a 3-year contract worth $12 million. At first glance, signing a fullback might not seem like a huge headline, but within the context of the Patriots' offense, it actually makes a lot of sense. Offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels has always valued the fullback position. Throughout the history of the Patriots' offense, there has almost always been a reliable fullback on the roster. Fans remember names like Patrick Pass, Heath Evans, and James Devlin. Those players weren't just depth pieces, they played important roles in the structure of the offense, particularly in the running game. Gilliam fits that mold well. He posted a run-blocking grade of 73.5 and an overall grade of 70.8, showing he can be effective opening lanes for running backs. In fact, part of the reason James Cook had such a strong season was because Gilliam consistently created space in the running game. For a Patriots offense that is still developing its rushing attack, that type of blocking could be extremely valuable. What also makes Gilliam interesting is his contribution on special teams. He played over 50 snaps in kick coverage, kick return, punt coverage, field goal, and extra point units, along with nearly 40 snaps on punt return. He also recorded 11 special teams tackles, placing him among the top contributors in that phase of the game. The Patriots made it clear during the NFL Combine that improving special teams was a priority, particularly in kick return situations, and Gilliam directly addresses that need. So when you evaluate these two signings individually, there are reasons to like them. Dre'Mont Jones adds pressure to the defensive front, and Reggie Gilliam strengthens both the run game and special teams. But the real debate among Patriots fans isn't about those individual moves, it's about what didn't happen. Several players the Patriots were reportedly connected to ended up signing elsewhere. Alec Pierce received a 4-year contract worth $114 million. Q's Tonga left for the Kansas City Chiefs on a 3-year deal worth $21 million. Isaiah Likely signed a 3-year contract worth $40 million. Isaac Seumalo agreed to a 3-year deal worth $31.5 million with the Arizona Cardinals. These were all opportunities for the Patriots to strengthen key positions, especially along the offensive line and at tight end. The most surprising part is that some of these contracts weren't even considered massive deals compared to the league's biggest spending. The Patriots reportedly checked in on some of these players, but ultimately didn't complete the signings. Even though the team still had significant salary cap space available, that raises a big question about the team's strategy. After reaching the Super Bowl, many expected the Patriots to attack free agency aggressively to close the gap and take the final step toward a championship. Instead, the first day felt unusually quiet compared to other teams around the league that were making multiple major additions. And that leads to the question that a lot of Patriots fans are asking right now: is this patience from the front office part of a bigger long-term plan? Or did the team miss a crucial opportunity to strengthen the roster when it mattered most? What do you think about the Patriots' approach so far in free agency? Do you believe the team made the right decision by avoiding those expensive contracts? Or should they have been more aggressive in upgrading the roster after coming so close to a championship? Tell me what you think, because when you step back and look at the bigger picture, the frustration from many Patriots fans starts to make more sense. The issue is not simply that the Patriots made only 2 signings. The real concern is how many opportunities were there to significantly improve the roster, and how many of those opportunities passed without the team making a move. Take the situation with Alec Pierce as an example. The Patriots were reportedly interested, and they even made an offer. That offer was believed to be around $26 million per year, but another team pushed the number higher, around $35 million, and Pierce ultimately stayed with the Indianapolis Colts on a 4-year deal worth $114 million. Now, whether you personally wanted Pierce or not, the important detail here is that the Patriots were clearly in the conversation. They were close, but once the price increased, they stepped away. And that same pattern appeared with several other players. Q's Tonga, who had been part of the Patriots' defensive front, ended up signing with the Kansas City Chiefs on a 3-year contract worth $21 million. The Patriots were trying to bring him back, but the deal never happened. Losing a defensive tackle like Tonga may not seem like a blockbuster loss, but those types of players are important for maintaining depth and physicality along the defensive line. Then there was Isaiah Likely, one of the tight ends many fans were hoping would join the Patriots. Likely signed a 3-year contract worth $40 million for a player with his upside and ability as a receiving tight end. Many analysts believe that price was actually very reasonable in today's market. There was even some excitement around the idea of him returning to Massachusetts and becoming part of the Patriots offense. But again, the move never happened. And the same thing can be said for Isaac Seumalo. He signed a 3-year deal worth $31.5 million with the Arizona Cardinals. Offensive line has been one of the areas where the Patriots absolutely needed to get stronger. Protecting the quarterback and stabilizing the run game should be priorities, especially when the team struggled in those areas at times last season. Seumalo was a player who could have helped address that problem, yet once again the Patriots checked in but did not finalize the deal. When you stack all those situations together, it begins to paint a clear picture. The Patriots were active in conversations. They were exploring options. They were monitoring players. But when it came time to actually close those deals, the organization consistently chose not to push the financial commitment far enough to secure the players. And that's exactly why so many fans started to call the Patriots one of the biggest losers of the first day of free agency. Not because the roster got worse overnight, but because the team had the resources to improve and still walked away with very little to show for it. What makes this even more interesting is the comparison with last year. On the first day of free agency in the previous offseason, the Patriots were extremely aggressive. They signed Milton Williams, Carlton Davis, Robert Spillane, Mike Holland, Tyrus Tonga, and Morgan Moses all on day one. That was a clear signal that the team was serious about building a competitive roster. This year felt completely different. Instead of multiple impactful signings, the Patriots added Draymond Jones and Reggie Gilliam. Both players can contribute, but neither move drastically changes the outlook of the roster. And if you're a team that just reached the Super Bowl, the expectation is usually that you push even harder the following year to strengthen the roster and finish the job. Another factor that cannot be ignored is leverage. Right now, the Patriots still need help at wide receiver. That's not a secret around the league. And because other teams know that, it puts the Patriots in a difficult negotiating position. If they now attempt to trade for a receiver like A.J. Brown, the Eagles could demand a very high price because they know New England is looking for that kind of weapon. The same situation applies to other free agents who are still available. Players like Chigozie Okonkwo could provide an upgrade at tight end, especially alongside Hunter Henry. Veterans like Kevin Byard could help strengthen the secondary if the Patriots Patriots decide not to bring back Jalen Hawkins. And at wide receiver, names like Juwan Jennings and Romeo Dew have also been mentioned as possible options. There is still time for the Patriots to make moves. Free agency doesn't end after the first day, and rosters can change quickly over the next several days. But the pressure is definitely starting to build because the team cannot realistically go into the 2026 season with the exact same roster and expect better results. The schedule is going to be tougher, the competition in the conference continues to improve, and if the Patriots truly want to return to the Super Bowl and win it this time, they will eventually have to invest in the roster. That leads to another important question about the leadership making these decisions. Elliott Wolf currently serves as the de facto general manager, but many insiders believe the final authority on spending still belongs to Robert Kraft. At the same time, head coach Mike Vrabel will also have a major voice in shaping the roster. So when fans see the Patriots passing on multiple free agents, despite having plenty of salary cap space, it naturally raises questions about who is actually driving these decisions. Are the Patriots being cautious on purpose because they are planning something bigger later in free agency or the draft? Or is the organization simply unwilling to spend the money necessary to bring in top talent? Because at the end of the day, if you want to consistently compete for championships in today's NFL, there comes a moment when you have to be willing to pay for the players who can make the difference. The other element that makes this entire situation even more complicated is what it means for the Patriots moving forward over the next few weeks. Because the quiet approach on day one of free agency doesn't just affect the roster today, it changes the pressure on every decision that comes next. When a team spends aggressively early in free agency, it usually gives them flexibility. They fill a few holes, stabilize the roster, and then head into the NFL draft with the freedom to simply take the best player available. But when a team stays quiet while multiple needs remain on the roster, the strategy starts to shift. Now, every remaining move carries more weight. Right now, the Patriots still have several areas that clearly need improvement. The offensive line is one of the biggest concerns. Last season, there were moments where the protection simply wasn't good enough, and when that happens, the entire offense struggles. The quarterback doesn't have time to throw, the running game becomes predictable, and the playbook gets smaller. Passing on a player like Isaac Sumalo means that question mark is still there. Then there's the receiving group. The Patriots still do not have a true dominant wide receiver that opposing defenses must game plan around every week. That type of player changes everything for an offense. When defenses have to double cover one receiver, it opens space for everyone else on the field. Without that threat, defenses can stay balanced and make life much harder for the quarterback. That's why the idea of a big move at wide receiver continues to come up in conversations among fans and analysts. If the Patriots were to pursue a major trade for a star receiver, it would instantly change the perception of this offseason. But trades like that are never simple. They cost draft picks, sometimes multiple high picks, and they also require the team to commit a huge contract to the player involved. And here's where the earlier decisions in free agency become important again, because when the Patriots chose not to spend big money on several available players, they kept a large amount of salary cap space available. On one hand, that could be viewed as a missed opportunity. On the other hand, it could also mean the team is preparing for a different type of move, something bigger that hasn't happened yet. That's the part fans are trying to figure out right now. Is the quiet start simply caution?